How's it going, guys? Tonight, I'm currently preparing for the Enderun entrance exam. And yes, I know, another entrance exam. You've probably seen me preparing for others, such as the Leap Med. But yes, I'm going to be preparing for the Enderun entrance exam, which will be tomorrow. And I thought, why not study tonight so I could make sure that I pass. So, I'm running out of words. Let's just get started studying. Okay, I'm done studying. Well, see you guys tomorrow, where I'm gonna be walking you through and giving you a vlog. Whatever happens, keep you guys up to date. Alright, it's already morning. I've done my morning routine, ate a big breakfast, took a shower, did some stretching to get the blood pumping, and now I'm ready to revise, take a shower, and get ready for this test. And if I could be completely transparent, I didn't really prepare for this test. I didn't revise because I was busy with schoolwork the past week. It was our last week. Yesterday was our last day. So I'm a bit worried, to say the least. But nevertheless, I only have 30 minutes before the exam starts. And I just would like to share this mindset that we can only control what we can control. I can't suddenly dilate time and stop and suddenly cram a lot of revising. No, instead of focusing what I can't do, instead focus on what I can do, which is use the time that I have left to study and learn what topic would I hate the most to see? What am I the most weak at? What am I the weakest at? And instead focus on that. That way, I'll be more likely to get a higher score. And other than that, the best I can do is also clear my head and make sure that I enjoy this. Because I know for myself, if I enjoy the process, I'll more likely get higher results. It's just something I've noticed. So more of that. I'm going to study, I'm going to take a shower, and clear my head. And I'll see you after the exam. Okay, so I just finished the exam and I have a lot to talk about. But before I talk about what mattered and what came up in the exam, I just want to give one more lesson, is that I was able to do the exam really well and attribute it to two important things. And these things aren't related to studying. What do you think they are? These things help a lot of people, but in preparing for exams and learning, but we don't really talk about it as much. So I wanted to take the time to put it out there, and it is exercise and sleep. Now, before you click on this video, just give me some time to explain to you that the reason why I was able to focus on this 2-hour exam without burning out, the reason why I was able to go from question to question, being fresh and not being sleepy or not being unfocused, was because yes, last night I slept. I went to bed at 9:30, fell asleep at 10, woke up at 7:30. That's around at least 9 hours of sleep. And you might be thinking, I don't need 9 hours of sleep, I can do well. I've done that. I've done that. It's just that when we're so used to not sleeping for enough, we tend to acclimatize ourselves to thinking, oh, I'm sleeping enough. The normal for being able to focus has lowered down, that you don't even know that there's a better, stronger focus in you if you just slept longer and did exercise the day before. So getting sunlight, being active throughout the day yesterday made me easier to sleep, made me sleepy, and that's why I fell asleep earlier and was able to wake up feeling refreshed and ready to kill the exam. Now let's move on to the entrance exam, and it was alright, to say the least. The English, there was a section called reading comprehension, and that was the killer. If you're a fan of reading literature, reading comprehension, fiction books, then that is perfect for you, because they would ask you to read between the lines. Sometimes you would read the whole, at least I did. I read the whole passage, not really knowing what it meant. And one of the questions asked, what is this passage trying to say? What is it about? Is it about a philosophy? Is it about, an inference over something? So if you're good at literature and reading between the lines. Good for you. If you're not, try practicing that. Second was the vocabulary. They would ask you for vocabulary, so study your vocabulary, synonyms. If you're not good at vocabulary and your entrance exam is tomorrow, at least practice using context clues. You know, those questions on the internet, you know, what could this word mean? That will sharpen your brain, even if you don't memorize the word. Next up was math. And math was okay because they asked questions where you just had to input numbers in your calculator. So you're gonna lose a lot of points if you don't bring your calculator. So they will ask you to, you know, put a lot of numbers and then just hit equals. Then just make sure you get the right answers. Most of the questions were multiple choice, so if you realize that your answer didn't get it, you can always go again, which is the good thing about multiple choice. Another thing is that they asked about percentages a lot, about, you know, they give the pie chart, and then they ask you what percentage is this, so that's simple. They also asked about algebraic equations and expressions, you know, factorization. Yeah, they're, you know, standard high school math, and I'm 100% sure you guys know about that. So there's no need to practice as much, and there's no trigonometry, those sine, cos, tan. So yes, you don't have to worry about that, especially if you've practiced and studied math and have got consistently good grades in high school. The next was the essay, and I'm not going to disclose the prompt because one, it's not fair for the people who didn't know the prompt. So I'm just going to give an overview. It's related to Enderun, of course, the college, and about you. So just practice knowing more about you. And what I did was I put the story that was related to my course, entrepreneurship, and I related it to the prompt. And, you know, starting with the story is really good because it hooks the reader's attention. It allows people to visualize something, and it makes you more interested to know how it combines and portrays with the prompt. Another tip which I would like to put out there, and it's not just for essay entrance exams. Do this for every essay. You would feel like a really good writer. So don't put the title right away. Make the title last. Once you've done writing the entire essay and you wrote the last sentence, get some words from the last sentence. Bonus points if it's the last few words, and put it as a title. Then check if it looks good or not. Because the point of that is that it ties it to the start, and that is what I did. I'll make another video on how to write really good essays, but more on that later. So how am I feeling about the results? Well, could have been better, because one thing to note about the Enderun online entrance exam is you can't go back on your question. So let's say you're at question 1. You pick one of the choices, click submit, you go to question 2. You can't change question 1. You can't change the answers of question 1. So there was a time where I realized just after I clicked submit, I realized I had the wrong answer in question 1, which is a bummer. That happened 2 or 3 times. So my suggestion here for you guys is to really check and revise and make sure that you're sure that that's your answer, because you won't get a redo. And don't worry, they reminded us in the start. It's just that sometimes my brain works faster than my hands work faster than my brain. So always be careful. Another thing to note is that Another thing to note is if you're taking it online, or rather you're taking it on a computer, the bottom left corner of the screen will show the time left. Well, in fact, it's not the time left for the entire subject or the entire exam. It's just for the section. So let's say English has 3 sections: reading comprehension, vocabulary, and grammar. If it says there's 15 minutes left, there's only 15 minutes left for the reading comprehension. And just remember that, because that freaked me out. I thought I only had a few more minutes left for English when it was just for that particular section. So remember, they go through each section. pace yourself well, but not too fast that you'll be rushing through the questions, because remember, you can't go back to them. So try to find a balance, and also try to find the average time needed for each question, because at the start of the exam they'll give you how many questions per section. So you just need to divide. If this section has like 20 questions and you have around 20 minutes to the section, 1 minute per question, easy as that. So make sure you pace yourselves and don't rush yourself too much. But that's all that I have for now. So I'm going to go ahead and get lunch, because at 12:30 there will be an orientation, and after the orientation I'm going to prepare for my interview. And if you've seen a past video on this channel, you've seen that I tried a LeapMed UST interview, practiced it, posted some videos on it. You can watch them here in this playlist, and I didn't pass. So I'm going to use this as a redemption, use what I learned, and be grateful for the opportunity, because at least now I know what I want, I know what course I want, and I'm striving for that. So this interview is going to turn out differently. See you guys. I'm getting hungry. Alright, while waiting for the orientation to start, I'm going to start preparing for the interview. And how I'm going to do that is similar to how I prepared for the UST LeapMed interview. And once again, you can watch the video by clicking the link in the description. So I have actually a list of questions for the UST LeapMed interview. And while it might not be the same, it will most likely be similar. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna convert these to the Enderun, and fix it to my course, which is entrepreneurship. And I'm really excited because for the UST LeapMed interview, I wasn't so willing to be a doctor. So I was forging my answers in a way that I could be a doctor. And even then, I was still not. I still didn't pass. So at least now I can show my true passions, my true hobbies, and because they're all related to entrepreneurship, I can be able to say what I want, and they'll be able to accept me for who I am, which is great. So I'm gonna take around 20 minutes for me to change the questions and forge my answers. Okay. I just finished the interview and I did so good, I think. But I did better than the LeapMed interview. So it's just really a big lesson here is that our failures are just mere setbacks and points of improvement where we could learn from and get better the next time. I wouldn't have gone and done really well on this Enderun interview if I didn't take the LeapMed interview. So check out the video there and you can see what I learned and what I did wrong. And if you watch the video, I'm telling you, I did the opposite. Well, not really the opposite, but I avoided the mistakes that I did in the LeapMed interview. Instead of drawn out answers and stories, I gave straight to the point, structured answers with no fluff and with all full authenticity. Also, when I didn't really know the answer to the question, I paused for a bit, structured the answer in my mind, then said it. And when I did say it, it was non-stop. I didn't need to pause for anything, and it allowed me to be able to answer it well. So I also attribute this to preparing for that possible questions by searching the top 3 questions that they might ask. And I will click the link in the description. I have a document where it shows all the questions. You can use it to prepare for your exam. Your interview, and I just hope that it will help you. So I also did the last question bit. Well, I learned from my mistake. I didn't ask any negative questions, as I've said in the video about the LeapMed interview. Instead, I asked a positive question that assumed that I was going to go in. I asked if in the first week of starting in Enderun, what should I do to maximize my experience? And my interviewer said to take part in the freshman orientation will allow you to have a good network and stuff, and you'll be able to meet loads of new people, and maybe one day you'll be the one organizing that. So when he said it, the tonality that he gave was that he was excited. He's glad that I asked that question. He's looking forward that I would be able to be in that freshman orientation. So you can see the difference compared to my previous interview, where they were a bit offended and they didn't want to hear what I said. And also, my interviewer also said that he's looking forward to seeing me and teaching me because he thinks I'm a good candidate. And he also asked some questions like, if there's no scholarship, would you be willing to pursue Enderun? If and considering other options, are you willing to pursue Enderun? So it's like, while it's asking if I'm loyal to my option, it's also as if they want me to be there, and compared to that difference there. So what were the other improvements I did was there are also things that I couldn't have controlled, because I, for one, know in my heart that I want the course in Enderun, I want the college. So whatever I say, it's true and authentic, and it's what they want to hear. So it hits the 2 points of the Venn diagram. And I believe that we should all go through with what our heart desires, because if we fake it, we won't be able to make it. So that's the clear lesson here. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity. If you want more videos about my experience in Enderun, or preparation for anything, leave a like and a comment down below so I'll know to make more videos about this. So all of that and more, time to celebrate the day and spend time with my family and edit this video. All right, see you guys, and watch this video if you want to prepare for your next interview.